Big Value, Big Business Podcast, episode 17.
Welcome to the Big Value, Big Business Podcast with James Lynch, where we talk with today's most successful marketing minds about getting the right message in front of the right people and getting the right people to become your customers for life. And now, your host, James Lynch.
All right, welcome back, my friends, to yet another edition of the Big Value, Big Business Podcast. I am your host, James Lynch. I am really big time super excited about my very special guest today. His name is Michael Kawula. Michael comes to us from selfemployedking.com, where he helps ordinary small businesses become extraordinarily successful businesses using the very same strategies that have helped him build a $20,000 a week local cleaning business. And also, he draws on his experience in selling over $10 million in his online business. So without further ado, I'd like to say hello to Michael Kawula and get the real inside scoop. Michael, how are you doing today, sir?
I am doing awesome today. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on. And, man, I want to just thank you for taking your time. And I'm really excited to get down to some of the key components that you have used yourself and helped others to be successful both in the online and in the offline business world. So does that sound like a plan, sir?
We're ready to go.
Awesome. Can we get just a little history from you? I'd like to just find out who Michael Kawula was, where you came from, and a little bit about, the journey that brought you here to where you are today.
Well, once upon a time, way back, it's funny. I was always an entrepreneur, and it started at a young age. I remember I bought my first stock at 9 years old, and that was ToysRus, ticker TOY.
Nice.
And did that from savings from shoveling snow to the typical lemonade stand, but I had a super duper lemonade stand. I sold the morning newspaper, bagels, coffee. I had a regular crowd, and I put it right next to the bus stop. So I always had a tremendous amount of business coming in from it. It was pretty cool. I had that spirit, and in high school, I started a business that, basically what we were doing is down at the Jersey Shore, my family had a home, and I used to always hang out at the marina. And everybody was always complaining on Sundays, we got to wash down our boats. Or on Fridays when they were coming down, we got to run to the store and get the food and everything to load up the boat before they go out for the weekend. So what I did is I started a business, and back then email wasn't as big and all the technology we have today. So people actually faxed me their orders of what they wanted. And we would fill up the boat on Fridays. And on Sundays, when they came back, I had a team of people who would go in and clean the boats for them. It was pretty cool business.
How old were you when you did this?
17. So I couldn't even buy the booze that the people wanted to put on the boat. I had to get somebody to do it for me. But I was making good money, so I was able to kind of give them a vig and get them to go doing it. So it was pretty cool. But then I moved on to a multi-level marketing company called Cutco. Those the famous pair of scissors that you can cut a penny with. It taught me a lot. It was funny too, because when I started and I had just gotten into college, I was like, I'm a terrible sales guy. I'm not going to be good at this. And I remember them giving me the ratios in the beginning of what the typical person would do the first couple of months. So I said to myself, if I'm and I had this low self-esteem. I'm like, I'm a terrible salesperson. So I was like, I'm not going to be that good. So I need to make sure that I really set myself up to do well. So what I did is I ended up going into a very heavy Jewish community called Muncie, New York. And there were a lot of folks who practiced and they were kosher. So whenever they bought something, they would always buy two. One would be a kosher set and one would be a non-kosher set. So I was selling these knives that were like $700-800, and it ended up I was pretty good at selling. I didn't think I was, but I ended up doing real well. But I was also doubling all my sales because they always had to buy two. So it was cool. And pretty soon I got to be like, they offer you the opportunity of opening up your own office and all of this stuff. But long story short, my mom at the time had said, this isn't a real job. This, network marketing doesn't work. So I was, well, okay, but I was making good money, So I went and applied for a job at an insurance agency in my town, Allstate Insurance. And the guy was looking to kind of semi-retire. And he said, hey, I'll pay for you to go get your license. And if you go get your license, you can kind of help me out here in the office. And, I like to golf during the day, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay. Well, within like a couple of months after getting my license, I'd gotten into a couple of like these, big referral groups. And, in the mornings I would stand out at Home Depot and hand out business cards and talk to all the contractors. And, I built this guy's business up real big that he came back in and started working full time again because he was making more money than he ever did before.
Wow.
But again, I graduated college and my mom had said, you're not going to work in a local town at an insurance agency. Everybody in our town goes and works in Manhattan. So I went and, I should have stayed there. I mean, because it was awesome. And this guy was making a boatload of money and I could have probably taken over the office. Who knows? But I went and got a job in the city and became a stockbroker and, stayed in the finance community until right around age 30. And then, I remember the day exactly. It was 9/10/2001, the day before 9/11. And I found out I was having my first child. And my wife and I decided at that time that, that entrepreneurial bug was always in me, that I would, break away from that, job that, I was very addicted to that paycheck. Like I'm sure we all are, that consistent money coming in and, I was making, high six figures. So it was good. But, we decided at that time that I was going to, head out and start my own business. And that's when it all started. So, I was just turned 30 and, I bought my first franchise. And since then I've owned 2 franchises, started an online business and, have sold them and now focused on Self-Employed King where I help, small businesses increase their sales. So it's a lot of fun. It's been a heck of a journey.
Wow. And I usually start out, most folks don't start out being the huge entrepreneur that you were in your teens. And I usually go, well, was there a time when you were working for the man and decided that you didn't want to do that and you wanted to more turn to the entrepreneurial spirit that was deep inside? And how did you manage to cover that up for all that time? You know what I mean? You did so many killer things, and then you went and finished college, and at the advice of your mom, you went and got a quote unquote real job in the city. How did you? I mean, you did well. I mean, you're making high six figures, but how did you keep that down there? Like the entrepreneurial spirit. How did you keep that at bay for so long?
If you ever saw the movie Boiler Room. That was my first job on Wall Street. So it was, it was crazy. You were making 500 cold calls a day. But at the end of the day, I ended up doing real well the first few months into it, but I did not feel good with really the stocks that we were pitching. They were garbage. So I left the company, went and worked, became a wholesaler, for a mutual fund company. And at that time, they were looking to start an e-wholesaling desk, basically where we could, get these brokers out there who were selling mutual funds to take a look at our mutual funds a little bit more. So one of them maybe just bought a small amount of our mutual fund, maybe $100 or whatever. Next thing you know, we would be on the phone with them, talking to them and getting them to do millions of dollars in business with us. And what was neat was this was a new thing at the time. And I was able to kind of come in and help them build up this department. And, our department did $1 billion the year that I left. It was, from doing nothing to growing to, doing over $1 billion in sales. It was huge. So it was that excitement. However, with that said, that whole time, I was like a guinea pig because, I did well. So anytime, that the company wanted to try something, I was the guy they would go to. And, sometimes it would work and other times, we were doing great. And next, I remember this one project, we did $100 million and it was awesome. And they decided out of nowhere to just, close down that idea and focus on something else. And it was, there was no rationale behind it, but it was that corporate BS. And, we just decided, I did at least. I can't deal with this anymore. The mental, of giving your heart, showing up like, average person would be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Not Mike Kawula. I'm a workaholic. I'd be there at like, 6 o'clock in the morning. And, I wouldn't leave at, 6 o'clock at night like everybody else. I'd be there late. And that was just who I was. But to be treated like that consistently where, you're just really, I made good money, but I was a number at the end of the day, we don't want to do this anymore. But let's do this. And it's like, what are you, insane? But, they've got, shareholders to, make happy and stuff like that. And I understood that, but it's just, I give people credit because, see, some people look at me and say, God, entrepreneurship is crazy. And I look at them and say, I think what you're doing is crazy because I can't do that. I'm not built for that.
Yeah. No, and you did answer my question, whether you knew it or not. It was, they took advantage of your entrepreneurial spirit and you blazed a trail for that industry, basically.
It was fun. The art department was awesome. We had great times, but it was, it was new. It was exciting. So I could take my entrepreneurial drive and put 100% into it. But, just at the mind games, I wouldn't be able to handle that.
Yeah, and obviously you did the right thing. So then you went out and you bought some franchises, maybe cleaning franchises. It seems to kind of what I'm reading, or where did it go from there?
Well, my first franchise actually, I was so addicted to that paycheck that what I ended up doing was, I knew mentally I needed income still coming in. I couldn't just quit, even though we had savings. I couldn't do it. So what I ended up doing was going and working for a company. It was an internet company at the time, and they had a sales department that was made up of all these tech guys that understood the product. But oh my God, they would go into these meetings, into these marketing departments and pitch the product, but they were so techy that they were never closing any business. So I went in and kind of, dumbed it down because I'm not that tacky. But, I knew what they needed, which was, to answer to their bosses. So, I went in there and what I was able to do was work much less and create my own schedule. So I started looking at all these businesses. I looked at a car wash, a batting cage facility, a bagel shop. I was looking at everything and I had so many problems trying to buy a business that I ended up, looking at franchising, and I found this franchise that you could walk people through a methodical process and basically help them buy a franchise. So it was a franchise helping people buy franchises.
I love it.
And I figured, let me buy this because it was only it just was under $50,000. But I figured if I helped enough people, I could learn about all the different models out there. And I knew I was an okay sales guy, so I said, I'll make my money back. I can do this, part-time, build up the business. But as I was fortunate because, I cold called 3 outplacement firms in the New York area, some big ones, and I got myself into them that I was able to go and deal with people that just got let go from corporate America, had big severance packages, and didn't want to go back into corporate America. So I ended up getting a lot of business, which was cool. But, it was one of those things that you were trading time for money, basically. It's, I had to be working in it, and if I wanted to walk away, I wouldn't be able to because, you couldn't annuitize that type of business. So, I kept looking, and eventually, I saw that the cleaning business kind of matched my goals and objectives, which was, build it up, put management in place. And, at the time I thought I'd be able to kind of, step away from it and let managers run it. But 3 years into it, when I started doing that, I learned that it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be.
To let other people run it.
Yeah, it was, I started it in 2005, and in 2008, I started an online company, and I kind of stepped away a little bit, was into the online a lot more, and I was still in the same office, but I was down the hall and kind of behind closed doors all day. And what I noticed is in 3 years I built it up to a 7-figure business. But as I stepped away each year, like 2009, 2010, 2011, the sales started to drop, and the quality of my company, the name that I had in the in a local area at the Jersey Shore, wasn't the same as it was when I had started it, because at the end of the day, it's no disrespect, I loved all my cleaners and everything like that, but it was a high turnover business. I went through 250 plus W-2s a year.
Wow.
It was just that some of the folks that you got in there were rotten apples that would cause a lot of headaches for you as an owner, and managers just would never give it the same 100% as you would as an owner. So it's just, our sales started to drop. And, in 2011, I decided to put it up on the market and sell it. It was still worth a lot. And, kind of focus more on my online company at that time, because we had just gotten ranked by Inc. magazine. So things were going good.
The online company had just gotten ranked?
Yeah, we were ranked the 144th fastest growing company.
Wow. Can you, was that your current?
No, this was a company called Discount Cleaning Products. And basically in 2008, when the economy was sucking wind, all the other franchisees that I was, always talking with were complaining that, prices were going up for supplies, but, like everything. And, but the business was drying up. So, because people were being let go, and, cleaning is more of a, disposable type product that, if you don't have the money, you're not going to do it. Obviously, you clean yourself.
Sure.
All these guys were complaining. So I said, hey, let me ask you this. If I was able to get the price back down for you, would you guarantee that you would shop through me? They said yes. So I ended up doing what I always do, picked up the phone, started cold calling, went to some, conferences, made some relationships, and struck up a deal with Hoover, Oric Vacuum, and all of the big brands out there that, if I bought in large quantity, but I was able to convince them to drop ship for me, that they would, keep a price, that was attractive to everybody. And, I started the business, and, it started out in the beginning just cleaning companies, grew into churches, hospitals, hotels. And next thing you know, everybody was saying, well, can you get me office supplies? So I ended up going to the people that Staples buys from, which is a company called United Stationaries. And, like when you get a product in the mail from Staples, it's actually not coming from Staples most of the time. It's coming from United Stationaries. So I was, right away able to order, I guess it was close to 100,000 different office supplies. I was able to now offer to my customers, and the business just blew up. So 2011, we got ranked by Inc. magazine, and in 2012 it was ranked 144th fastest growing company, which was awesome.
Wow. And it's amazing how you took one opportunity and piggybacked another opportunity on each one, where you started with franchises and showing people how to purchase a franchise. You had a paid education where you could look at all the franchises, learn the ins and outs, what's good, what's bad, and then you moved from there. You purchased your franchise, the franchise that resonated with you, and you built it up to this huge business. Unfortunately, you couldn't let it self-sustain itself with management, but even with all that going on, you were able to carve out another niche for yourself with the supplies and break records in the and make a name for yourself. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Fantastic.
Trust me, there was a lot of headaches and a lot of, it was a roller coaster. I mean, up and down. And we had our account. I literally almost went out of business in 2000, right before 2010. Because we were growing so fast, and I was naive. This was all new to me. So, I'm one of those people that believes in, imperfect action beats perfect inaction. So flip the switch, just figure it out.
MVP, minimal viable product.
And go with it, right, baby?
Right,
so that's what it was all about. But, we were growing so fast, and what ended up happening was, once a month when I would have to pay all my vendors and the credit card, I would move the money out of PayPal. So I would keep it there all month. And what ended up happening is 2 weeks, 3 weeks into a month, I had around 200,000 and change sitting in my PayPal account. And, I went to log in and I was locked out that day. And I'm like, they froze my account.
So many people. I hear that happening too.
And
My goodness.
here's the thing. Here's what, I don't know if you've ever heard what they make you do when they freeze the account.
No.
Well, they make you actually print out every invoice, and you can't mail it to them. They want you to fax it to them. Well, I needed the funds because, I was just, an idiot. I waited till last minute and didn't know that this could happen. So I needed the money. And they said, no, you have to fax it. Well, they wanted every PO that I had for that matched up with pretty much all of the PayPal things for the last 30 days. Well, that was over 4,000 pieces of paper. Okay.
Oh,
so me and my assistant are in my office. I had the cleaning people at night helping me out. That weekend we faxed everything, and I remember. And that Monday when I called the rep, which everybody out there listening, if you're starting a business and you're doing okay, you have your own individual PayPal rep. Most people don't know it until the SHIT hits the fan. But you have your own rep. When I called my rep that I had just found out that I had and started speaking to him, they're like, "Oh no, the fax didn't come through." I mean, do you know what that was like? First of all, try faxing that many pieces of paper. It doesn't happen. I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. Had to do it again. And, eventually what ended up happening is I had to tap some of my cash resources and, pay out my vendors and the credit card. But it took a while. And after that, I learned that, stay in touch with PayPal and, move your funds as fast as you can. Don't leave too much sitting in there. And, that was just one of the many things. I tried so many things. I thought I was so good that I tried warehousing. And, I had a warehouse and stocked it up with stuff. And we had, probably around 6 figures going in and out of this warehouse every 2 weeks. But I had never run a warehouse, knew nothing about inventory management, knew nothing about when a freight truck comes in and delivers that you should check what, they deliver. So, we were just paying out Hoover and, paying out all of our, manufacturers that were shipping stuff to us, but we were never auditing what was delivering. And, long story short, eventually we figured out that we were paying for stuff that was never delivered at times.
Oh, no.
Other times things were damaged and we were responsible because we signed off for it. And, you just learn all this stuff. And, we were doing good. But, I learned a lot. I bought a container of stuff from China once, just thinking, hey, I sold a little bit of the stuff. It did good. I was like, let me go buy it myself. I went direct to China. Bam. Bada boom, get it here in the U.S., get a cease and desist from As Seen on TV that I'm not allowed to sell this. Life, I tell you, I wanted to quit, but, I went home, I thought about it, I, did some mindset stuff that I do, and, the next day I came back and I had all my cleaners in there. We stripped down the boxes and sold the parts, and we made even more. Go F yourself to them, so, you just have to think of
Fantastic.
So...
Fantastic. No, I was going to ask you. I try to have some kind of flow to the conversation. It's when I don't know what to say next. So I usually ask. We heard all the good stuff, and I called out all the good stuff, and I said, "So tell us about the challenges you had." So that is, you took care of that for sure. But how you turn that around? That's freaking awesome. You're like, yeah, okay, we'll break it down, we'll sell it for parts, and we'll make even was probably one of my worst weeks. My cleaning company had just had was contacted by the state because a customer was missing $10,000. As an owner, I had to go and, in New Jersey, when over $5,000 is stolen from somebody, you have to do a lie detector. And it's done by the state police. Well, if anybody's ever done a lie detector, it's not like what it is on TV. You have to sit there for 3 hours. I'm an antsy person. For me to sit down for 3 hours, virtually impossible. And all of my cleaners ended up passing with flying colors, and the homeowner wouldn't take the test themselves. So everybody thought it was insurance for it. But, it's just like that happened, this happened. It was, it's that entrepreneur, things just happen. Sure.
I always tell people, as an entrepreneur, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you can't, then, that you're going to have problems being successful. Or if you can just learn to be uncomfortable with, or be comfortable with being uncomfortable, you're going to do okay.
Yeah. Living on the edge or outside the comfort zone. A lot of guys that I talk to, that's when they make the biggest strides. Is you just got to live outside the box just a bit and get out of your comfort zone. It's the only time when you're stretching yourself.
Definitely.
Wow. So tell us when you turn the corner. You've hinted about some online businesses that you have? I mean, you've got some great success going on with the selfemployedking.com, and you're helping so many people find their way, small business, small, medium, large businesses alike. So tell us where you turn the corner from, say, the franchise working, managing folks to actually being online and helping people reach their own dreams.
Well, before Self-Employed King, it was, again, 2011 when I just decided I'm done. The service level business is phenomenal. I will tell you, most people don't realize, but the service industry, I actually at the time was making more money in the service industry than I was doing $5 million plus online that year. So, people just don't get that. So $1 million in a service business versus $5 million in the end of 2010, beginning of 2011. My online company was growing and we were doubling and doubling. It was good, but you still made more in the service business. But the headaches are just, incredible.
People in process. There's so many moving parts.
And that's just not who I was. And, when I made that decision to sell, I had that online company. Obviously, it was doing real well. In 2012, I started, blogging, I guess kind of like a lot of folks do, 2013, and just kind of like sharing, basic growth principles. Again, I'm an online guy right now, but I believe in a lot of offline strategies to grow a business. Huge with networking. I believe folks should be out there striking partnerships as much as possible. I started sharing these ideas and they were resonating with everyday small business owners. And, next thing you know, I was talking to people and, doing kind of what we're doing right now, just jumping on a call and, things were going good. But I wasn't charging for it. I was doing a lot of mentoring in, New York City at startups, and just trying to, kind of give back to everybody. And I enjoyed it. And, 2013, I had a partner in my online company. And he and I sat down. I flew down to Atlanta, and I was looking to take the business in a different direction. I really wanted to kind of make it, to make it what I wanted. It had to be doing at least $50 million, and we needed to make some changes. And my partner didn't want to. He also didn't want to sell the company. So we struck a deal where he was able to kind of buy me out of it, and I could focus on this, which is the Self-Employed King, and still tweaking with models all the time. I do a lot of coaching right now. It's long term, not the business that the Self-Employed King will be. I have a mastermind group where folks kind of pay a monthly membership, and in return I do coaching to a group, so everybody benefits. I've got technical support in there for folks, so that's more of the model, more of the direction I'm taking the business long term. But I enjoy every day just dealing with my customers and helping them out with different strategies or systems. I mean, a lot of times I think people are doing the right things in the business, but they just they're kind of disorganized. They don't have a system in place to kind of measure what they're doing and kind of focus more on the things that are going well and get rid of those things that aren't doing as well. And that's what I do with folks right now.
So safe to say it's mostly small business owners and the like that you're helping out?
Yeah, most of them are. I mean, I have some still tech startups, but a lot of them, two of the ones I work with, I have capital in the company, and I'm an advisor on them. But it's I enjoy working with everyday entrepreneurs, folks. I work with some internet entrepreneurs who, just looking at ways to monetize their businesses, to, a local CrossFit gym that, just needed some help, and, I'm able to help, and it's fun. It's awesome actually, because it just comes natural to me, and, I get passion and joy out of it. So, that's kind of the direction I'm trying to focus on, is making sure everything that I do is truly enjoyable, because from a mindset standpoint, I don't want the stress in my life anymore. I've got young children and I want to enjoy my time with them.
God bless you. Absolutely. I love it. That's a great story, and a great segue. Tell me, if you were to give my listeners, again, it consists of small business owners, maybe the consultants that do speak with and try to help small businesses kind of get online. What would be it's a noisy world out there, highly social and getting more and more social, and where networking is important every day. But what would be the number one takeaway you'd advise my folks to kind of focus on to try to bring their business to the next level, be it an online business?
The first thing I would do would be to shut off your computer and go sit somewhere in the mountains, go sit on the beach, go do something away from your computer, and think about people who are already speaking to whoever it is that you want to do business with, and find a way that you can strike up a mutual beneficial way of partnering with those folks. So that's the way to build a business rapidly. Trying to do it in, like what you said, is a noisy environment right now online. And so much noise being thrown left and right. And there's a lot of good stuff too. I don't want to call, it's good noise. It's like being in at the game and your team's winning and you're hearing all this stuff. It's great and it's a lot of fun. But step away from the computer, because you need to form partnerships. You need to join, people call them joint ventures, whatever. Just think of something that is mutually beneficial in a way that you can work with somebody. Because in my opinion, that's one of the fastest ways that you can grow a business, number one. Number two, you need to be building a list, an email list, and be, sharing good quality stuff with those folks on a regular basis, not consistently pitching whatever it is that you sell or have, provide value to them. And systematize your online presence. It's hard, you know what I mean? Like, because whoever you follow on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, if you followed them for, you obviously like them for some reason, right? So if you sit there and look at your newsfeed, you're going to be sucked into it, especially with the way people write copies nowadays, right? I mean, there are some good copywriters out there. So you hear the magic secret to double your business in 6 months. Yep. Well, okay, click. Oh, wait. Click on this and this, and next thing you know, 2 hours just went by. What'd you
down the hole?
Gone. You're never getting that back. Step away from your computer. Yeah. Get on the phone. Even if you're an online person, you should be networking on a regular basis. I mean, I've met some great people in New York. I'm moving to Florida. I've been going down and meeting with people and just networking, and we can all help one another, and we can do a better job of it when we do what you and I are doing right now, talking. Person to person versus, back and forth. And then if you're going to use online, use it more for engagement. I have a video on my site that shows people how to get social media done in 15 minutes a day. And I really believe you can, and spend the rest of your day engaging with people. Build relationships and find a way to get them on the phone or, an email so you guys can start talking back and forth. You're going to grow your business that way. You're not going to grow it trying to compete with everybody online.
And touche, Mike, because you and I met, I believe we started social media. Then we moved to your blog, and I left a comment, and you checked me out. I checked you out, and let's get on a Skype call and just talk. And here we are.
Exactly, right? And now I know you, and we have a relationship, and it will grow from here. And that's the way things go. It's a noisy environment. I mean, you said it the best, like that. It's very noisy. So try to find a way to build. You and I were talking before this. I told you every day I get emails from people just saying thanks, blah blah blah. Last week, I got another email, and this was last night. But somebody had sent me something, and I love this tool. It's called helpareporterout.com.
Yes.
Hero. So it's phenomenal. I recommend it to everybody. So last week, I did this huge blog on it. It got a lot of publicity, but this one lady had this question, and she asked me a question on Twitter or engaged and whatever, So I ended up saying, listen, let's get on a call and let me spend 10 minutes with you, and I will get you comfortable with this, because she wanted to give up on it. Well, she ended up telling me, she sent me this long email last night. Thank you, blah, 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 Buddha boom. She got into, what website was it? Monster.com. She's an HR coach. She ended up getting into Monster.com. What a powerful link to have, and what a way now for people to actually come back and see her. And she was ready to give up on it. But what I do, I engaged with her. I didn't get anything back. I don't need anything from her.
Sure.
But I just, I built a relationship, and, I can use that maybe as a testimonial. So yeah, I got something back, I guess. But, I don't know. But she said, what can I do for you? And that's what, give to people, build relationships. We're all online people today, but try to get offline and talk to these people.
Yeah, and you probably just told her pay it forward.
Exactly.
That's the kind of guy you are.
Yep.
How did she get? What was she got her link on Monster, so she's actually there for folks to reference?
Yeah, Monster's blog.
Wow.
which is pretty
Oh, on her
cool.
blog. Oh,
No,
awesome. As a guest.
Monster.com has a
Yeah.
blog. And so
Yes, yes.
so she's on theirs, which is what a powerful link to have back to your site,
Wow.
right?
That's cred. That's definitely credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let me switch gears for a second. I kind of heard you say it's almost like you're reading my mind here, but I heard you say something about, I went home and I got my head straight. I did some mindset kind of stuff. I always ask, and I'm so interested to hear what you do. That kind of particular rituals for productivity, accountability, maybe just to keep your head straight and keep you moving in the right direction. How do you feed your mind?
Well, once a morning, I stand upside down, and no, I don't. But it's the first thing.
I was writing it down.
The very first thing I do every day, like all of us, is I turn on my phone when I roll over from bed, and I have no alarm. I'm just a morning person. But I look at my phone, and I have an email that's sent to me every morning at 5 o'clock, and in it is affirmations, and whether you're for or against affirmations, indifferent. I've got motivational videos in this email, and it's set every day. The same email just comes to me. It's a huge thing. So if I feel like watching a video, or if I feel like reading affirmations, if I feel like reading inspirational quotes, the very first thing every day I start is 10 minutes of just reading through and saying, that's pretty cool. And it's huge. And I keep adding to it. So it's the same email, and find something that's you. It could be inspirational pictures, could be whatever. But always start your day off positive. You have to. And always, before you go to bed, think about what went well that day. Because we all have garbage in our lives. There's no doubt about it. But here's the thing. I don't know if you want to know my favorite book, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Sure. The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And here's the thing. During the day, you have conscious thoughts. Your conscious thoughts feed your subconscious mind. Now, when you go to bed at night, your conscious mind shuts down, but your subconscious is very wide awake, and it's going and going and going. And your subconscious mind is the thing that creates the realities that we have in our life, scientifically proven. So if you go to bed and say, I had a crappy day, or this happened, or that happened, and you're feeding your mind with, money issues, which is a top, common thing for everybody in the beginnings, right? When you're starting off as an entrepreneur, you got money issues. So now you're like, shit, how am I going to make money? Sorry, I cursed. How am I going to make money? And now you're feeding your mind with that. And if you Secret of a Millionaire Mindset, same thing. He talks about it too. You cannot feed your mind with that way. So try to be grateful and think about the things that went well in that day. Just 2 or 3 things. Maybe you keep a gratitude journal, whatever it is, but Think about it, feed your mind. Go to bed, wake up in the morning, feed it with some good stuff. Then when I turn on my computer, first thing that I do is I go to, and I can share it with you if you'd like. It's I created interests on Facebook, and I go into this thing and I just look at it, and in there is just all positive pictures that start scrolling by. Some of them are, affirmations, some of them are, they're just all these different things, but I read through them and I look at these things, and my day starts off very positive. So within 30 minutes of the day, I have all this good stuff, and some of it I'll share also on social media, so I'm getting that done, but then I go right into my social media for the day, and I get it done within 15, 20 minutes max. So it's pretty cool, but when you say mindset, you've got to be feeding your mind with good stuff. We're all going to have that garbage in it. It just happens. It's reality. But very important that you start your day off right and end your day right.
So you have an hour workout, a mental workout.
It's not a combined hour, but I'm starting my day, ending my day, and then I do step away and do working out. I eat right. I mean, a year ago, almost a year April, I started the paleo diet, cut sugar out of my life. I feel better than ever, and I didn't need it because of weight. Because I'm skinny, but I need it because of that entrepreneurial ADD that we all have. My mind's moving so fast all the time that now I'm actually able to concentrate a lot better, and I do feel a lot better too.
Fantastic. So physical and mental working out. Yeah, I love those, and I'm definitely a student. You're speaking the right language. I'm definitely a student of the just subconscious, and I so believe in that. And I'm going to ask you again, there's so many books on the power of the subconscious mind, but you said Joseph Murphy?
Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I'm sure you've read T. Harv's book also. He equates to some of that same stuff, but don't go get it at the library, and don't download it on Kindle. Power of the Subconscious Mind. Actually buy it, because it's kind of like a Bible in a sense. That it's broken down into. Did you ever read the book Rework?
Have not.
Okay, it's awesome. It's from 37 Signals, but every chapter is only like 2 or 3 pages. Well, that's the same thing with the Power of the Subconscious Mind. So let's say you have real estate problems. You can go to like the real estate section, and it's just 2 or 3 things that it teaches you what to say to your mind before you go to bed. And he walks you through this process. So if you're having money problems, if you're having relationship problems, whatever it is, you turn to that chapter and you read what you should tell your mind before you go to bed. And the SHT stuff works. I'm telling you, buddy, it works. Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy.
Got it. I love it. Thank you so much for that. One other thing, we talked about networking and masterminds. What is your preferred? Where does Mike go for his inspiration from other? Where do you network? At your level, who do you listen to?
Okay. So a lot of what I do with networking is actually with people outside of my business. So although I do, a fair amount inside of my, the online world and, entrepreneurs, I try to also go to different things. I'm a big proponent of meetup.com. So I'll go to meetup.com. I go to, I'm a mentor at Lean Startup. I go and I mentor for the weekends there, which is pretty cool. But I'll go to these things. I go to, look for some co-working spaces maybe also, because a lot of co-working spaces have very cool networking events and they're free also. So, but I go to these things. I go to, meetup.com, and I try to say, this looks pretty cool. And I go and, just walk up to people and start talking to them. And, I always ask people, who's your perfect referral? If I could refer you the best person in the world, who would that be? That would make your life better or your business better. And, by hearing that, then enough times I can help people.
And you're not saying, hey, who are you? What are you doing? What can you do for me?
Exactly.
You're saying, hey, nice to meet you. If I were to bring you the perfect customer, the perfect prospect, what would that person look like?
That's it.
Oh, that's fantastic. How you flip that and just you're giving rather than just going to these things and taking. I love that.
Because you know what they're always going to ask next.
How about you?
Exactly, right? So, and I'm actually, I guess maybe call me an idiot, but, I'm humble, and as I've gotten older and what have you, I just, I don't like to get before I give and give. That's just me. So, I like to make sure that I can give a lot. If somebody gives something to me, they better watch out, because they're getting 10 times more back. That's just the way, but it's fun.
Fantastic. And I've been looking at, and I've got to get out there to these meetups, and there's tons of after hours stuff out there that I'll have to put some links actually in the show notes for this show, in addition to everything else you talked about of the meetup groups, and just meeting like-minded entrepreneurs and talking with them, and just not for anything else, not looking for clients, but just to get another person's perspective on just the whole state of the way things are going right now, and just to talk.
That 100%. And guess what?
Face to face,
belly to belly, and a lot of times talk to your competitors, because there's always ways that you can build with one another. I mean, let's say if you do web design, well, go and talk to the bigger web designers out there, and you know what? I bet you, if you were to position yourself correctly, you could get some of their overflow work. So if you're new in the business, you'll get that business. And as you grow, then you can help somebody else new starting out. I mean, it's just network with the people in your business, but definitely also step away and try to network with people outside of your industry, because you meet great people, and that's the way you also expand, because, who is it? Jim Rohn says it, that your net worth is your network. And it's true.
Yep. Yeah, you're the average sum of the 5 people you hang with, or something like that.
And that's true too. I mean, 100%.
Yeah, totally. Hey, listen, what as we just wrap things up, tell us about any current projects you have going on, and how we can find you. Like, what are you concentrating right now?
Well, I'm building up my mastermind group. Basically, that's at selfemployedking.com. It's called the Self-Employed Kingdom. And that's really my focus. I do a lot of coaching right now, one-on-one, but I'm trying to gear more towards the mastermind where I can, kind of give to a huge amount of people in there, and everybody can kind of gain from that knowledge all together. I charge a monthly membership. It's $39. It's cheap, but I've got my tech team in there so they can help people out and answer the technical support folks questions, if they have WordPress problems or what have you. I'm building a back-end system if people want the work done for themselves. That's really a big focus of mine. I've partnered with some, I'm a big proponent of partnering. I know I've said it a lot, but reaching out to people like who have, business licenses where they have people underneath them working, kind of like multi-level networking. And I work with some MLM people, but I support all of their folks, and I have these back-end systems then that they can get the technical support. So, I have a membership fee coming in, but then I have that back-end fee also coming in for the bigger work that they need done. So that's really my focus, and, enjoying my time with my family, and moving to Florida in June. So pretty pumped.
Fantastic. Okay, give us the digits. I see your phone number here. I see selfemployedking.com. Tell us how we can find you on Facebook, Twitter, and how my folks can say hello to Michael Kawula.
Well, definitely visit my site, selfemployedking.com. I write a killer blog post once a week. That's not mine, but it's information I share from folks I interview. So I'll interview 50 to 100 folks a week about a topic, and then I put it together and put it up on my site, and it's always awesome. Check it out. But my phone number is right on my website. Why? I know a lot of folks will, for whatever reason, don't do that. Call me, text me, have a question. This is a people business, everything in life. So I want folks to reach out. You can email me at mike@selfemployedking.com. And if you visit my website, everything's right there. My Twitter, I'm huge with Twitter, love it. I tweet constantly, good content. And, if you've got a question or whatever, if something resonated with you here, ping me, ask me a question. I'm happy to help.
Michael Kawula, you've been a gentleman, a scholar, and a wealth of information. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, sir.
You are awesome yourself, sir, and I look forward to building our relationship with one another. It's really been awesome getting to know you.
Absolutely. Same here, sir. We look forward to it. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Take care.
Take care, Mike. All right. I hope you enjoyed our chat today with Mr. Michael Kawula. You can check out Michael and everything he's got going on over at selfemployedking.com. You can find the show notes and the highlights of this interview at bigvaluebigbusiness.com, episode 17. Or just go to bigvaluebigbusiness.com and type Michael K, that's Michael, Michaelk, into the search box for easy access. Hey, and while you're on the site, take a second and leave a comment if you would, either about this interview or about the show overall. Or if you prefer, click on through to iTunes and subscribe to the show there. Heck, if you feel like it, go ahead and leave a review on iTunes. If you would, I would really and truly appreciate an honest review from you, and it helps me get the show in front of more people on iTunes. So if you could, click on through any of the links on the site and head on over to iTunes and check it out. Okay, and lastly, I hope we brought some big value into your day today. You take care, and I'll be talking to you real soon.
Thanks for listening to the Big Value, Big Business Podcast at www.bigvaluebigbusiness.com.